Hello, YouTube. Today I want to talk about underrated crafted recipes. We all know about this significance of caster amulets, blood rings. People like those, and they look down on the other recipes. But today I'll be showing you how good they can get and when to use them. If you're a cell phone player or you don't have uh, you don't have much currency like most of us do, then stick around. Otherwise, for the big boys that have a lot of forum gold, you know, the whales that are filthy rich, I would not recommend doing these recipes at all. I would recommend just sticking to the good old OP ones. You can just buy packs in bulk and hopefully roll some GG items. But for the rest of us, these are the way to go. Starting off with the hit power boots, they may not seem like much, but when you have excess RALs, generating extra 4 affix boots may help you out in the beginning of your playthrough. And I would argue even afterwards, even when you're farming and you have excess RALs and perfect sapphires, I make these boots. The only clunky thing about these boots is picking them up from the floor. But if you pay attention, they do drop often. So a, a rare boots can roll up to 6 affixes. These boots, while they don't have the most impressive stats, are still boots that have 4 guaranteed affixes, so why not craft them? Especially when you have a bunch of RALs. We don't have an unlimited amount of perfect amethyst. I mean, if you have an unlimited amount of perfect amethyst, then yeah, go ahead and only use your RALs on caster amulets, but I don't only find perfect amethyst, so there's that. Right, let's go to the other one, hit power gloves. Now these I craft for specific characters like Bodons or uh, Barbs in the early game. Uh, Javazons, it's a stretch. The knockback can be useful, albeit a bit annoying. These have a very niche use case, but if you're playing a niche character, then these are quite nice. Um, you could argue you could make a bunch of hit power gloves on casters that don't need excess FCR, so you can get a nice pair of dual res with mana or triple res if you're lucky. So there's that. Belt is in the beginning of ladder. Very nice for the beginning of ladder. The damage taken goes to mana, and it's just a belt that you can roll for nice affixes. But the belts are quite weak sauce. When you established good gear, you're farming comfortably. It falls up. Hit power shield, I've not found a use case. Let me know if you have. Same for the armor. The amulet is also quite nice. Excess tool runes and excess perfect sapphires. You just roll a bunch of amulets. There's up to 4 affixes, so why not? Just roll a bunch of amulets. You can get something really good. But they fall off once you have established a bunch of gear again. Very situational recipes. Now the ring is actually good, even when you do hit a certain threshold. Because look at this, plus 1 to 5 dex as a base, alongside 4 affixes. Yeah, that's nice. You can get 10 FCR Tri-Res with a dex roll, or dual stat FCR or single res. There's a bunch of combos you can get. High mana. These are quite good. I mean, 5 decks. Let's take the Blood Ring. It can get up to 15 life, depending on the character. On the Barb, it's 20 life if you go block. Not to mention the attack rating and defense you're getting as an added bonus. So the AM rings, whether it's Perfect Sapphire, Perfect Emerald, and Perfect Amethyst. That's the least desirable one, by the way, because Caster Emerald exists. Are very good to mass craft. I've crafted decent hit bar rings over the years. I highly recommend this recipe. Hit power weapon. I have made this work. You can actually make wands, staves with this, but it's very niche. On top of the mentioned recipes here. So, but there is a use case. Very specific use case. It's not a general use case. Alright, let's move on to blood. I'm gonna skip over Blood Ring because everyone knows about it. I'm gonna start up with the Blood Helm. This early ladder is insane. Get a Life Leech Helm cheap. Not only that, even in the end game you can craft an insane helmet. 10% Deadly Strike, 3% Life Leech, 2 sockets, Visionary, resistances. So yeah, definitely on a barb or an attacker of some sort, this can be very, very good. I definitely would recommend. Very underrated. Blood Boots, very underrated as well. For a cost of an F, you make a pair of boots for a cost of an F that has replenished life, life leech, and life as a base. Think about that. I've made a lot of these, and I've actually scored a Tri-Res Runewalk pair once, which was insane. So definitely keep an eye on for Blood Boots. Blood Gloves, I think these are quite popular. Not as popular as the ring, but people have been crafting Vampire Bone Gloves specifically, so very nice for Uber killers, melee characters, or just casters that have excess of CR. You can get extra 10 to 20 life. That's basically a small charm, a bunch of affixes. So they're quite good. Blood Belt. This has a niche use case. By the way, I'm only covering PVM. I have no idea about PvP. I don't play PvP. I only play PVM and on hardcore. These early ladder are quite good. And if you need open wounds for your smiter or any uber killer, this belt can provide alongside some resistances. So blood shield I've not used in any scenario case. I can't tell you. I've never made a blood shield. No use case I would know a blood shield. A blood armor is very underrated. You can make this early ladder for your merc. It has life leech, so very good. Beyond early ladder, early game, I wouldn't touch it. Blood amulet also quite good. Up to 1 to 3, it says 4, but I think that's a typo. 1 or 3 life leech, 10 to 20 life, and run walk, which is nice. On top of the up to 4 affixes you can get. I do make them. You can make some insane amulets. Definitely keep an eye on. Mixed and match, bunch of recipes. Unless you're filthy rich. Like I said earlier in the video. Blood ring, self-explanatory. 1 to 5 strength and life. You know, you can't beat that. Blood weapon is actually very nice early game for either barbs, dealers. I guess shapeshifters. I don't play shapeshifters as much. And throw barbs, because you can make it in a throwing weapon, throwing axe. That's about it for the blood. Let's move to safety. Safety helm, there was a use case I've made a safety helm before, but I can't remember what it was. I think it was on a Trobar. I was playing a Trobar when I made safety helm once. I just no idea why. I guess I wanted a visionary safety helm. Haven't found a use case for this one. Move on. Safety boots. These are very underrated. You get 5 to 10 fire res as a base, 1 to 2 magic, damage reduction, and damage reduction 1 to 4. Pair of boots. The cost of an Orc rune. Typically, I like using normal quality and exceptional on these. They're quite good. I haven't crafted the Dream pair of boots. Dream safety, tri-res, faster run walk with 4 DR and 2 MDR. Haven't made one, but I'm gonna keep on crafting until I get them. Safety gloves, good early on, because it has a bunch of res. You can get something useful. Same goes for the belt. Has some res. Roll something useful. Shield has a niche use case. It's one of the few items in the game that have magic resistance. But honestly, in terms of shield, there's better options. Rhyme alone makes short work of any safety shield. Unless you roll something really good, I would not invest time and effort making a good safety shield. Same goes for safety armor. Don't waste your time. But a safety amulet, this one is really good. 1 to 10% increased chance of blocking, DR and MDR. I do roll these a lot. hoping for something godly. Spectacular recipe. The same goes for a safety ring. 1 to 5 vitality. Not as good as blood. Nothing as good as blood. But it's second best. But second best is not good. For us average people, I'd say definitely make safety ring when you have excess am runes. The emerald. Roll something nice. Safety weapons, if you're playing a Javazon, these can be rolled on an Amazon Javelin. You could roll something really good. Now, it doesn't beat keystrokes, but just think of the possibility you can roll something really, really good with amps on striking. I'm sure that has a niche use case. But realistically speaking, this is not worth rolling because T-strokes and Titans exist. Honestly, I roll them anyway when I play a Javazon just for the wag if I do get something insane. I guess early on they're pretty good. If you don't have any jabs, just roll safety jab. You're good to go. So, finally, we have Caster. Caster Helm. When you need mana leech, 1 to 3%, says 4, but it's incorrect. I've actually managed to roll 3% leech 2 socketed. Caster Helm, which was really good. This is accessible life leech at your disposal. Only requires a mask. Boots are insane. People here use JSP, they know. Good pair of crafted caster boots. They work a lot. I usually pick up the Wormhide boots, but you could pick up the Demon Hide if you want. 2 to 5% increased mana, regen, and flat mana. Pair of these, Try res with run walk or dual res, plus 40 mana roll with a 20 mana base and a 5% increase max. Run walk. You know, that's a dream come true. I've not made one of those yet. That's the whole point of crafting is you keep high rolling until you get something really good. You can get something semi good or as good, which I have made 2 to 3 affix well rolled crafted, but a 4 affix well rolled crafted is hard to come by. I usually settle for any good 2 to 3 though. Caster gloves are phenomenal. I have actually used them on a caster. Most people use them on a Java. You can get plus 40 mana roll with 20 base, which makes it plus 60 mana, plus other useful affixes, which are either stats or resistances. You roll up to 3 mana per kill as well, which is also useful for mana. And I guess the region helps, but not that much to be fair. More so the max mana ups the region. Caster belt, if you need FDR, this is the way early on. I would highly recommend crafting a caster belt. Caster amulet, everyone knows. But caster belt and a caster amulet, when you have low FCR, that's the way to go. Getting those 75, 125, 68, 63, all these hard to get breakpoints. So yeah. Caster Shield, I have not toyed around with a Caster Shield, so I can't really comment. Same with Caster Watery Armor. Caster Amulet is godly, we all know. Caster Ring, I have made a Caster Ring before, and it's actually very good. It's the mana counterpart of the Blood Ring, of course. 1 to 5 energy and 10-20 mana region. They're actually very good, but the Caster Amulets end up being better for the most part. In terms of perfect Amethyst usage, you always want to focus on Caster Amulets. And I guess Caster Boots sometimes. When you run out of Rals, you don't always have Rals. But if you want to mix it up. Generally speaking, these two recipes outweigh this one. I could see a world where if you have really GG gear, you want to craft a really insane caster ring, then getting caster ring crafting packs could be good. You need extra mana. This gives a lot of mana. So definitely something to consider. You want a lot of mana. Of course, the Stone of Jordan gives most mana. Maybe he requires 2 FCR rings. You want to roll good PR, mana, some res. I can't really say where I'd specify this ring. I'm sure there's a use case, like a meta use case where this is best and it's not. Can't really think of one. Let me know if you think of a meta use case caster ring. Caster weapon. It is actually a useful recipe, but it kind of spirit kind of spirit is too good. That's the issue. If it wasn't for spirit, then you'd see people craft these more often. That is a lot of mana early on. Unfortunately, it's outshunned by spirit. But that's about it. I just wanted to bring your attention to these recipes because they're not used as much. Plain and simple. Didn't want to elaborate too much. Hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like, subscribe, and comment there. Stay safe and goodbye.